Very good afternoon to one and all. This is Dr. Pranay Dute, and today we are going to discuss about new concept, that is a Deccan Trap and Deccan Trap in India. So, what is the Deccan Trap? And the almost the content for this lecture is content for this lecture is what is the world and geological traps are, what is the tectonic history of India, then Deccan Trap in India, what is the mental plume hypothesis, the reunion hotspot, basaltic lava flow in Deccan, dig study in Deccan, electrical resistivity studies, geochemical and geophysical. So this is the different indexes we have for the Deccan Trap. So the world and geological trap. So the term trap has been used to describe the geology in the geology since 1785 to 95 for such a raw formation. It is derived from the Swedish word for strain and refer to the step-like hills forming the landscape of the region. Then what is the plateau? The plateau is also called as a high plain or tableland. In the area of highland usually consists of the relatively flat terrain. A plateau is an elevated land. Plateau is an elevated land. It is a flat top table standing above the surrounding area. A plateau may have one or more sides to steep slope. This is how your world traps has been recognized. So you have a Raj Mahal trap. If you talk about India, you have a Raj Mahal trap, Gwalior range. Then you have Arabian. So this is a different type of trap which you can see in these images. All are mostly the basaltic flow. Okay? The flow for this all the trap is a basaltic flow. So what is the plateau? Plateau can form by a number of processes. Plateau can form by a number of processes. Upwelling of volcanic magma, extrusion of lava, upwelling of volcanic magma, extrusion of lava, erosion by water and glacier. Magma rises from mantle causing the ground to swell upward. In this way, large flat areas of rock are uplifted. You have plateaus which can be formed by the number of processes like upwelling of volcanic magma, extrusion of lava, erosion by water and glacier. Magma rises from the mantle causing the ground to swell the upward. Then you have classification of plateau. You have different type of plateau. So intermountain plateau are the highest in the world. Intermountain plateau are the highest in the world, bordered by mountain. The Tibetan plateau is one such plateau. The Tibetan plateau is one such plateau. Piedmont plateau. What is the Piedmont plateau? Piedmont plateau are bordered on one side by mountain and on the other side by the plain or sea. Then you have a continental plateau. The continental plateau are bordered on all sides by the plains or sea forming away from the mountain. Then you have a distracted plateaus. The distracted plateau are highly eroded plateau caused by river and broken by the deep narrow valley. Then you have a volcanic plateau. The volcanic plateau are produced by the volcanic activity. The Columbia plateau in northeast is a example for this one. Then you have a Deccan Trap also one of the volcanic plateau. This is the Deccan Plateau. This is the Deccan Trap, also plateau we can say. India in which classified as a volcanic or plateau which will help study in this. The distribution. This is a distribution map of the Mesozoic to Cenozoic large igneous provenance with silices, LIP, italics, and North Atlantic igneous provenance, Central Atlantic magmatic provenance, Raj Mahal traps, basalt, and all. Then you have a tectonic history of the. So how the traps and this Deccan trap has been formed. For this, you should know about the how the Deccan trap has been formed. How the Deccan trap has been formed. So this is a map, typical map of India, and you can see that this is the plate boundary, a cartoon depicting the tectonic scenario of Indian plate and the neighboring plates. The vector represents the plate motion velocities along the Indian plate margin, computed using the NUVEI 1A model. This is the plate boundaries for India. You have Tibetan plate, Indian plate, Australian plate, and African plate, and also this was the in the late Cretaceous, about 90 year ago. In the late Cretaceous, about 90 year ago, subsequent to the splitting of the Gondwana, of subsequent of the hitting of the Gondwana, you have it is begin moving north at about 20 centimeter per year and is believed to have began colliding with the Asia between the 55 to 50 million year ago in the Eocene epoch of the Cenozoic. Although this contains the some authors suggesting it was a much later, around the 35 million year. So how the Deccan Tract has been formed? So in the late Cretaceous, about the 90 million year ago. In the late Cretaceous, about 90 million year ago, subsequent to the splitting of the from the Gondwana, conjoined Madagascar and India. The Indian plate split into the Madagascar from the Madagascar. It begins to moving north at about 20 centimeter per the year and is believed to have began colliding with the Asia between the 55 to 50 million year ago in the Eocene epoch of the Cenozoic. Although this is contested, with some authors suggesting it was a much later at around 35 million year ago. If the collision occurred between the 55 to 50 million years, the Indian plates would have been covered distance of 3,000 to 2,000 kilometers, moving rather faster than any other plates. This is the typical flow chart or figure or diagram which can show the different kind of things. Like you have a movement of this plate. Like you have a movement of this plate from this one to upper side. So you have a Deccan track, then you have a Deccan track on this one. So this is a scenario of India of 42 million year ago and 60 million year ago. So this plate is continuously moving towards the upper side, that is the northeastern side. It continuously moves. Indian plate is moving northeast. Indian plate is moving northeast at 5 centimeter per year, while the Eurasian plate is moving north at only 2 centimeter per year. India is thus referred as the fastest continent. India is thus referred the fastest continent. This is causing the Eurasian plate to deform and Indian plate to compress at a rate of 4 per year. So as per the continental drift theory, you know that what is the continental drift theory is all about. Indian plate is moving on a northeast. Indian plate is moving on a northeast at 5 centimeter per year, while the Eurasian plate is moving north at only 2 centimeter per year. India is thus referred to as the fastest continent, thus the causing the Eurasian plate to deform and Indian plate to compress at a rate of 4 per year. This is how the Deccan Trap has been covered the area. You can see the this is a most of the area of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, and Gujarat. Especially the 85% of the state Maharashtra is covered by the Deccan Trap. 85% of the state covered by the Deccan Trap. So you have this plateau-like structure, and in Gujarat also toward the Cambay Basin and all, you have some basement of Deccan Trap. So this is all about the Deccan Trap in India, how it is distributed. So the volcanic provenance for the Deccan Trap is one of the giant continental flood basin and has a total exposed area of about half of the billion square kilometer between the latitude and longitude. In the northwestern, central, and southern area, Indian peninsula, in the northwestern, central, and southern peninsula, the approximate volume of the Deccan volcanic provenance is about 2 into 10 to the power 6 kilometer cube, and its estimated age is 64 to 65 million years. It is generally believed that the Deccan volcanic provenance originated during the Gondwana. uh, what we will show the main rock formation that make up the Indian shield. Over the large part of the provenance, over the large part of the provenance, the contact of the contact of the Deccan lava with the pre-volcanic basement is not exposed. The Deccan lava overlie a complex Archean and Proterozoic basement along the southern and southeastern periphery of the province. In the northern and northeastern part of the province, in the northern and northeastern part of the province, central India they overlie diverse geological formation, the Vindhyan sedimentary basin, the Gondwana sedimentary basin, late Cretaceous bark and lamina sediment, and Archean and early Proterozoic crystalline rocks are the few of these. This is a Google view of the western and eastern Ghat of mountain itself. This is the eastern Ghat and this is the western. Then what is the mental plume theory is all about? What is the mental plume theory is all about? A mental plume theory is a global scale model which showing how these things can be originated. How this thing has been originated. Model showing a global scale model showing the origin of large plumes. A global scale model showing the origin of large plume from near the core mental boundary. The large plume heads melt and produce a flood basalt, whereas their tails persist of the for the million of year and generate hotspot trap. The mental plume movement. What is the mental plume movement? So you have a crust, mantle, and core. From this crust, mantle, and core, you have one plume that is called as a mental plume. Then you have the reunion hotspot. Then you have a reunion hotspot. So the during the Indian plate journey northward after breaking off from the rest of Gondwana, it is passes over the geological hotspot. That name of the geological hotspot is reunion hotspot. As a mental plume which caused the extensive melting underneath the Indian platons. Then you have basaltic lava flow in Deccan Trap. Then you have basaltic lava flow in Deccan Trap. The geologists have divided the lava flow stratigraphy. The geologists have decided the lava flow stratigraphy in the southwestern part of the provenance into 11 flow formation on the basis of major and trace element and strontium, rubidium, and late isotope ratio. These studies have mostly focused on the stratigraphy. These studies have mostly focused on stratigraphically 3,400 million, 3,400 meter thick lava piles and type section of Western Ghat. That figure one is what supposed to be an escarpment that separate the western coastal plain from the Deccan Plateau. Several of these formations have been shown to extend far to the southeast and northeast, although their chemical and isotope variability in the distance location is somewhat greater than the seen in the Western Ghat. Then you have stratigraphy of the Deccan Flood Basalt. So, what is the stratigraphy of the Deccan Flood Basalt? The when you have a Deccan Flood Basalt, so stratigraphy of the Deccan Flood Basalt in the Western Ghat with formation thickness, magnetic polarity, and strontium isotope value. The Desur is considered many as a unit of the Panhala formation itself. So this is a different kind of stratigraphic sequences we have. So we have a Desur formation. The age of this one is given 0.772, and then you have Panhala formation, Mahabaleshwar formation. So while Lonavala and Kalsubai is a three subgroup of Deccan basalt. Why Lonavala and Kalsubai? So you have a peak of Kalsubai, Pathar, you may heard about Kalsubai Hazard. Lonavala you heard about always for the different things. And then you have why. So why Lonavala and Kalsubai the three different why Lonavala and Kalsubai the three different parts we have. Then the Desur is considered by the Desur is considered by the what we can say the this is how your Deccan trap has been used for the various purpose. Means how the Deccan trap has been exposed. Uh, so how the Deccan trap has been we can say the it is you can say the it is distributed in most of the part of India. It is distributed in the most of the part of the India. So 85% of the India is covered by the Deccan Trap. 85% of the India is covered by the Deccan Trap, and the most of the part of Deccan Trap, the most of the part in Deccan Trap is having a significant. So why we study this all, and what is the purpose to study? Because the most of the Maharashtra is covered by this Deccan Trap. Most of the Maharashtra is covered by this Deccan Trap. almost 85% of the Maharashtra is covered by the Deccan Trap. So 85% means it's a fair amount of area. A fair amount of area is covered by the this Deccan Trap case. This Deccan Trap. Just a minute for. So when we are talking about the history, it is believed that this will form from the large volcanic eruption by the. It is considered to be formed by the a large volcanic eruption 65 million year ago. At 65 million year ago, we have a large volcanic eruption, and that is 100. So all the dinosaur and this organism, the giant organism, is also get extinct. All the giant organism and this one is also get extinct from this uh, by this volcanism, the large volcanism of Deccan Trap. So what happened? We have excess of temperature. Okay, we have excess of temperature in that time. That's why the in a combination of these two to three, the combination of different phenomena is responsible. A combination of different phenomena is responsible for the diminishing of this what we can say the a large dinosaur, a large dinosaur. So this is how you can have the. So, Deccan volcanism is one of the biggest volcanism when we are consider the, the Deccan volcanism is one of the uh, largest volcanism of all the world. The main the main cause and main what we can say the so Deccan Trap is one of the volcanism at your what we can say the responsible for the all the part of this world, all the part of this world will be uh, covered by the volcanism, covered by the volcanism. So this is a different kind of this is some photograph is showing the Deccan volcanism. This is also some photograph. So you have having in a magma. The Deccan Trap is having in a magma. So you have a dike study in Deccan Trap. You have a dike study in Deccan Trap. So there is a many dikes You have many dikes which form during the volcanic the dike, the many dikes which is formed during the, so dike is nothing but the the dike is dike is nothing but a discordant body. Dike is a discordant body. As we see above, the Deccan Trap mainly composed of nearly flat-lying tholeiitic flow, many of which are laterally extensive, although their eruptive veins have not been found. Because the flood basalt are product of dike-fed fissure eruption, the study of Deccan Trap, the study of Deccan Trap, Deccan Dike are potential feeder to the Deccan flow is the crucial for determining the eruptive source area. The length of the lava flow and the architecture of the flood basalt field and its evolution during the flood basalt event are this one. So there is a three large dike system are exposed in the Deccan Trap flood basalt. The dominantly north-south trending dikes are mostly there. So the magnetic study is also been carried out for this dikes. This is some field photograph. This is some of the field photographs for the dike which we present there. Then you have photomicrograph. So microscopic study also giving the insight about how they are formed and what is their composition and what is the mineral and what kind of trace element is also present there. This is the accessory mineral and accessory mineral and all. Then you have electrical resistivity tomography technique. Electrical resistivity tomography technique in depth contract. So you have a geothermal energy, which is one of the cleaner sources of energy. You have a geothermal energy, which is one of the cleaner sources of energy, which are gaining importance as an alternative to hydrocarbon. According to Gupta and Roy, more than 20 countries generate electricity from the geothermal resources, and about the 60 countries make the direct use of geothermal energy. Geothermal studies have been carried out by the many researchers to quantify the thermal characteristics of different geological provenances in India and evaluate their suitability for geothermal evaluation. This is the location of hot spring. This is the location of hot spring and ERT profile in the study area. Then come to the conclusion of these studies. So interpretation and computed resistivity model along with the 8 profile of 4 hot spring sites stated that presence of potential geothermal reservoir, presence of potential geothermal reservoir at some places for uninhabited hot spring. 2D resistivity model for the profile L1 shows the potential reservoir of hot spring with resistivity of 1 ohm meter at 15-meter depth. This reservoir shows the downward extension, which appears to be associated with the fault extension to be deeper depth beyond the 67-meter and could be linked with the reservoir and uninhabited hot spring at a deeper level. Another reservoir with the resistivity of 5 ohm below the 8-meter depth between the 237 meter to 60. Then you have geochemical and geophysical studies. Then you have geochemical and geophysical studies. Within the Deccan Trap, at least 95% of the lava are tholeiitic basalt. Within the Deccan Trap, at least within the Deccan Trap, at least 95% of the lava are tholeiitic basalt, with alkali basaltic rock, nephelinite, and lambropyre, carbonatite, and the mentor. So this is a different kind of basalt we have. Here a plot of 624 sample of Deccan basalt. Here a plot of 625 sample of 624 sample of Deccan basalt of Western Ghats. So on the well-known TS diagram, note the complete absence of composition other than the basalt and basaltic andesite are this one. This plot are the same sample on the familiar AFM. So this is a different kind of. So then you have more. What is the more? More is a mid-oceanic ridge basalt. More is a mid-oceanic ridge basalt, which show the less crystal fractionation. Mid-oceanic ridge basalt show the uh, crystal fractionation than the flood basalt, evidencing the fact that the Deccan may have been subjected to the rapid mill ascent and the associated decompression melting resulting in olivine magnetite and crystal fractionation. The fact that there are no olivine crystal or metal xenolith in the Deccan suggests a period where the melt was held in a magma chamber where they were able to settle out the suspension before the eruption. This is the onshore area photographs versus the deep water depth. So these are some of the references we have for these studies. So this is how your Deccan trap has been evolved. We can see the one of the animation for the Deccan trap formation. Then we will move to the next topic. So because the animation is giving you the idea about.
ऐसे ही देखो।
So we have continental drift theory. According to that, there is a different part which is combined together, and this is the Deccan Plateau. We have this is the Deccan Plateau. So this is the peninsular plateau. The peninsular India is considered as a more stable plateau. Considered as a more stable plateau. Then you have Aravalli Hills. Then you have Aravalli Hills, Vindhyan Range. Then you have Aravalli Range and Vindhyan Range. Chambal River, Sindh River, Betwa River. So this is a different kind of rivers we found. So there is an extension of Deccan Plateau on northeast side also, on Meghalaya side. Then sorry. So the hotspots theory suggested that this one is going like this direction, and all this part will be formed by the Deccan volcanism. So this is all about the Deccan volcanism. This is all about the Deccan volcanism, how the Deccan volcanism is carried out, what kind of things can be studied for the. So Deccan volcanism is always been studied for their age. So 65 million year is the time when you have a Cretaceous or Cretaceous study. Okay, end of this Cretaceous. So late in the late Cretaceous, the mostly the uh, this age is considered as the age for the Deccan volcano. So this one is having a different kind of things. You have different kind of things. So extinction of dinosaur is also correlated with this one. Extinction of dinosaur is also correlated with this one, and this one is considered as a because of the uranium. Because of the uranium, the sorry, iridium is the coal is as a considered as the uranium. Iridium is considered as the element which comes only from the your outside the earth means through the meteoritic impact. So meteoritic impact and hot spring theory and hotspot theory and all this one is combined the effect the this uh, this theory. Thank you.